Alright guys, so what we're going to need to do in this video is we're going to need to add our backend folder here. So we're going to add folder to workspace, and we're going to choose website backend and hit add. And now I'm going to open up a new terminal in website backend, and here we're going to make sure MongoDB is running. So sudo service MongoDB start. And then we're going to run npm start on the API. And I can switch terminals here. And we're going to run npm start on our app. Drag this over here. So what we're going to need is a little bit of logic. If the user is logged in, then we need to basically show them an admin page. If they're not logged in, we're going to show them an admin login page. So under source here, I'm going to close these and leave its admin wrapper or app. So in app. All right. So app here, we need to also import connect, because the app is going to need to be aware of the state of the authentication. So in the very top here, we're going to import connect from React Redux. And then at the bottom, we're going to specify const map state to props. It's going to take in state, and it's going to be a function, and we're going to return auth. Rather, I want to do it in the same way we did it here. So we're going to set auth to state.auth instead of at the top here. So auth is going to be equal to state.auth. And we're going to create const map dispatch to props. And for right now, we're not going to actually be dispatching anything within this component, so that is just going to be this. And then we're going to run connect, which is a function, and then the function will wrap the app component. So in connect, we're going to pass map state to props and map dispatch to props. Just like this. I'm going to save this. And then in the very top here, we're going to need a component other than login. So under pages, I'm going to create a new file, and it is going to be called admin, or let's just call it dashboard.js. So I'm going to import React and component from React. I'm going to import with router from React router DOM, I believe is how we were doing that with the other components. Let me check this one. Did we wrap this one? Oh, we didn't even wrap that one. Okay. Let me look in homepage. We didn't wrap any of these in with router, I don't think. All right. Or was it this? We seriously didn't. Okay. We'll talk about with router then. Let's go ahead and that, and then import connect from React Redux. And here we're going to say class dashboard extends component. We're going to have the render method. For right now, it's going to return an h1. You are logged in with token. And then we'll say this.props.auth.token. Just like this. Then we're going to create the map state to props. So const map state to props going to be equal to state, which is an arrow function, and we are going to return auth equals state.auth, and then const map dispatch to props. And we're probably going to make a logout function. For right now, let's just return an empty JSON string, and then we're going to export default connect map state to props and map dispatch to props. And then we're going to say with router, and then we're going to wrap the dashboard component in that. And I'm going to save this. Now so I believe all this routing happens in app. So we've got this connected. This should be aware of this.props.token. So in the admin wrapper, basically, we're going to, in the route, the props will be passed into this function. So we can say props.auth.token. We're going to return dashboard. Otherwise, we're going to return the login component when they go to admin. So I need to now import the dashboard. So import dashboard from components, pages, dashboard. And this is exactly where we're going to put this. Just like this. I'm going to save this. And now I don't think I've missed anything. So when I go to admin, can't read property token of undefined. Does the app have... Let's just erase that for now. And what I want to do is break this out into its own function with its own return statement. And I will put this into here. And then remove that one. Get rid of all these spaces, just a bit of reformatting. And I'm going to print out the props. So console log props is going to be props. Save this. And now if I open up console, I should see props is an object. Okay, so the app is not getting wrapped. App. Connect. Export default. Connect. We've set that. But oh, you know what I think I did? I think the app is getting the auth, yeah. But the props passed into the route is not. So what I need to do is just one small change. If this.props.auth token. So the props here are the routes props. This props is going to be the components props. So I'm going to save and refresh. Now we're on admin, we're getting the login screen because there is no token. So if I say 123@gmail.com and this jazz here and hit login, we'll see that the state has changed and it has logged me in. So now what we actually have to do is connect this to an API. And there's a number of ways you can go about that. The way that I like to do it is using Axios. So npm install -- save Axios. And now let me make sure my API is running. Localhost, I think it was 8080. Let's go to Explorer. And it looks like it is working. Awesome. So this is the API just as we left it just a few videos ago. And it's running at port 8080. So what we're going to do is we're going to, beside components and store, we're going to create a new folder called utils. And then inside of here, we're going to create a new file called api.js. We're going to import Axios from Axios. And we're going to export default API equals, and then yeah, we could make this a class actually. Yeah, let's just keep it as a JSON object for now for simplicity. So what we're going to do is we're going to actually, no, let's do this the right way. Let's create a class called API. And this is just a regular JavaScript class. We're not going to extend any other classes. And in here we're going to have functions. So we're going to have a login function, which let's say const login equals an arrow function taking an email and pass. We don't need that const actually. There we go. This is looking a bit better. And then we're going to export default API. And so here what we're going to do is we're also going to actually need a third parameter for this function, which is going to be success. So if the error, it's going to be a callback function essentially. So what we're going to do is we're going to say Axios post, and here we're going to look at the user collection because we're going to need to post to the login function right here. So the URL that it's going to be is basically localhost at port 8080 /API/users/login, and we're going to have to send parameters over. And it is a post method, so that's why we're calling axios.post. If it's a get method, you could call axios.get, etc. So this is a function, and we are going to call the API's URL. So the easy way to do this, we're going to above here, or actually, yeah, we're going to specify const host, and this is going to be equal to HTTP localhost at port 8080 So this is going to be useful if you're working with a system that might be on multiple machines. If you work on it on your machine and you also have a production site or dev sites and stuff, you can easily configure the host. And I'll show you guys how to do things in development in React versus in production. We'll get to that a bit later. So for right now, we're going to post, and this is going to be 3 parameters. There's going to be the URL, the data that we're passing, which is going to be an object, and then the callback. So I'm going to open up some backticks here because we're going to use variables in here. So I'm going to put a $sign and then 2 curly braces, and in here I'm going to type host. So we're posting to host/API/users/login. We're going to put a comma, and then the data that we're going to pass, we're going to open this up, and we're going to say params. It's going to be email equals email, and password equals pass. And then the third parameter is going to get a result. So actually, no, that's it actually. We're going to continue this. So after the post function gets called, it's going to have a number of callbacks like catch, finally, etc. We're going to key into then, and it's going to get a result. We're going to put it into an arrow function, and we're going to call success res. And I'm going to put some semicolons there and save. Now we've got our class API with a login method, but we're not using it anywhere yet. So I'm going to close all others. And in my actions, so store actions, in my auth actions here, we're going to need to change this a little bit. So I'm going to import API. So import API from, and we're going to go up a level and up a level, and we're going to look in utils. We're going to look for API. Now what we're going to do is here, where we have the login function, we are going to return equals. Actually, let's just open up brackets here and type dispatch, and then an arrow, and then inside of here we can now dispatch other actions, right? So what I'm going to do is we're going to call api.login with email pass, and then we're going to get the result from this. And what I'm going to do for right now, I'm going to console log result is res.data. And then we're going to just comment that out for now, I guess. We're going to use it, but we're going to need to change it a bit. I'm going to save this. Now we're going to go into our application. I'm going to refresh this. And we need to run npm start, because I forgot when I installed Axios there. And then the app is going to start up here, and we should be good to go. So if I go to /admin, and I don't remember what my email and password were when we created the application, let me just check. I've got Robo3T here, and maybe if I can remember my password, I'll remember it, but no. Okay, so nick@nick.com. Test 1. Let me inspect. We should have got a console log there. Alright, actions must be plain objects. So what we will need to do is return this, I believe. Let's say nick@nick.com. Test. Still getting an issue there. And so I forgot the middleware part of this. Basically, we need to allow for actions to be, to return functions instead of just plain objects. And so we're going to need to use a middleware in order for this to now start functioning as it should. So in this video, I guess we've got our API created. We just need one more piece of the puzzle, and that I believe is going to be Redux Thunk. So we'll talk about that and get that set up in the next video.